For jobs, we've let in a steady inflow of foreign workers into our economy at all levels. And because of that, our economy has thrived. And we have full employment. Everybody has a job. All Singaporeans, nearly every Singaporean is working. The unemployment is only about 2.2% overall. But still, I know that Singaporeans worry about competition from foreigners. So, some time ago I had a dialogue with young people, and one polytechnic student asked me this very direct question. He said, you know, you have the S-Pass for people who are one level above the work permits. Why do you set the S-Pass qualifying salary at $1,800? Why did he ask me that question? Because really what he meant was, $1,800 is less than what many poly diploma holders are earning. Poly diploma holders earn more than that. So if you set the level there, you are going to have people who will be earning less than us but competing against us. Why do you let a foreigner compete directly against me? And I understand those feelings. But we need some non-Singaporeans to complement the Singaporeans and to make up our shortfalls. But at the same time, we also realize that it's important that Singaporeans remain the core of our workforce. We cannot become like the Gulf states where 80% of the people who are working are foreigners. And if you go there, whether it's the person in a hotel, whether it's a bank, whether it's the airport counter, or any of the jobs, it's foreigners working. And we cannot be like that. So we've tightened up on foreigners progressively. We've tightened up the foreign workers levy. We've tightened up on the dependency ratios. The S-Pass, we've pushed from $1,800 to $2,000. So that's of some help to the poly diploma holders and people who are at that level. And therefore, we have protected Singaporean workers, especially at the lower end. But we also have to be mindful of the impact on companies, especially local SMEs, because they need the foreign workers the most, and if we squeeze out the foreign workers too drastically, we're going to kill the SMEs. So we are helping the SMEs to adjust, grants, tax deductions, all sorts of schemes to help them to upgrade their productivity. And we have to bear that in mind when we settle our policies. At the top end of the workforce, we have to allow in high-quality professionals and entrepreneurs because they grow our businesses here and help Singapore compete internationally. So if you look at what we are doing, at the bottom we are tightening, at the top we have to be free, in between we have to make some adjustment. The lower middle level, foreigners are here, employment pass. Singaporeans are working, they're probably graduates or diploma holders, not hard up, not unskilled, but not so confident of themselves that they are ready for unrestrained competition. And feeling vulnerable, worried about what may happen. So I think at this middle level, we need to tighten a little bit further. We need to raise the salary requirement for the employment pass holders, tighten up the educational qualifications, make sure they come with real skills valuable to us. And this is something MOM has worked on and will announce details soon. And MOM will also work with tripartite partners so as to develop guidelines for fair employment practices and responsible recruitment practices, so that when you have a Singaporean working side by side with a foreigner, they both feel fairly treated and nobody feels that he's at a disadvantage. And this is something which will work together with the unions and the employers. But I should caution you on one thing. Just because we are tightening on foreign workers doesn't mean automatically that Singaporeans will get better jobs or higher pay. Because the competition isn't just a foreign worker here. You are competing with workers all over the world. And unskilled workers have felt this for a long time, but increasingly our graduates and professionals are also seeing this happen. In China, every year, 7 million graduate from university. Double the number of Singaporeans there are. And of these, 1.5 million are engineering and science types. They're hungry, they're competitive, and they're competing furiously with one another in China. And I think the impact will be felt around the world for the next 20 years, and including us. So it's really a tidal wave, a tsunami coming in our direction, and the only way to get out of the trouble is to rise above the tsunami by training ourselves, developing expertise, and doing things which they can't do yet in China, but we can do now in Singapore, and making a living for ourselves in order that we can improve our lives. But even if we do that, we have to accept that if we bring down the number of foreigners, slower the inflow, it means slower growth. Less economic growth, somewhat less vitality. Companies will come here not so vigorously, or they may choose to expand elsewhere. And we will have less resources to improve our lives. So, you've got to find the right balance. Yes, we will moderate and manage the foreign workers, but we have to bring in enough so that we have the manpower and the talent to grow and to prosper. So this is what we must do when it comes to putting Singaporeans first. Stay open, but moderate our policies, solve the problems. Whether it's housing, whether it's education, whether it's jobs. It's worked. We've brought global winners here, and we've created prosperity for Singaporeans. And one example of this is Lucasfilm Singapore. Last year I talked about them, but I think this year there's something interesting to share with you again. Lucasfilm in Singapore has 500 employees. They come from 36 countries, and nearly half of them are Singaporeans. Skilled people, animators, visual effect artists, engineers. Many of them graduated from our polys, which have very good digital arts and digital animation courses. And the team here has helped to produce many successful movies. I showed you Clone Wars 2 years ago, but the latest movie which we have been working on here is Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon. And I'll show you just one short clip done jointly by the team here and the team in San Francisco. Those of you who watch Transformer movies will know that this is a movie clip of Bumblebee. "10 seconds on the screen, or 8 seconds on the screen, but more than 10 people worked on it. Layout, simulation, animation, lighting, all kinds of skills, highly refined, only possible because you have this very diverse team with all the people from all around the world put together to make it happen. So let's stay open, keep current with new ideas and trends, stay ahead of the competition, and let's stay a confident, forward-looking, and successful society.